Hello everyone, we are from Group 6, consists of Zaza Salsabila, Mufliha Lawa, Nasafa Septa Raharjo. Here we will present our video presentation about politeness and interaction. Face means the public self-image of a person. It refers to the emotional and social sense of self that everyone has and expects everyone else to recognize. In an interaction can be defined as the means employed to show awareness of another person's face. Therefore, in a general form, it means to know how to be nice, tactful, and modest to other people. Here are some examples. The first is the utterance that a student says to her or his teacher. "Excuse me, Mr. Buckingham, but can I talk to you for a minute?" And the second is the utterance produced by a student to his or her friend. "Lena, got a minute?" Both of the utterances may have similar purpose, but different construction that may relate to the person whom the speaker speaks. Within everyday social interactions, people commonly behave as if their expectation concerning their public self-image, face wants, will be respected. The first face-threatening act is when the speaker says something that represents a threat to another individual's expectation regarding self-image. The example here is, "Cut it out. Your music is so bad." The second is face-saving act, is a possibility that some action might be interpreted as a threat to another face. The speaker can say something that could lessen the possible threat. The example is, "It's already night. People need to sleep. When are you going to turn off your radio?" These are the topics which will be discussed in this video presentation. The first is a type of face. The second, self and other, say nothing, then say something. Off and on a record, types of politeness strategies, and the last is pre-sequences. Types of face. There are two types of face. There are positive face and negative face. Positive face is the desire of being accepted, liked by others and seen as belonging to a group, as the desire of being a well-wisher. In other words, it is the need to be connected. The example here is, "Let's go together to the party, it must be very fun." And the second is the negative face. It is the desire of respecting the other's freedom of action, his or her autonomy, the need to be imposed by others. In a simple word, it is the need to be independent. The example, "I'm sorry to disturb you. Can I have your time for a minute?"
The next material is self and other, say nothing. Many people seem to prefer to have their needs recognized by others without having to express those needs in language. Without uttering a word, you have the intention that your problem will be recognized. For example, the situation is all of students must submit their assignments, and your assignment takes 4 pieces of paper, but you forgot to merge the paper. You are afraid if the paper will be messed up. You do not bring a stapler or paperclip. Then you check your pencil case and your bag without uttering a word, but with the hope that your problem will be realized. You think that person next to you can solve your problem. Within this situation, you represent self and the person next to you represents other. Self looks in the pencil case and other offers a paperclip. "Here, take this. This is may work or not, but if it does, it because the other offers and not because the self asked. When those needs are recognized, as in the example, then clearly more has been communicated than was said. The next material is say something of an on record. The first is off record. It is a statement but not directly addressed to the other, and the other may ignore the speaker's need. For example, the first, I forgot to merge my assignment, or I wonder where I put my paperclip. In this situation, this way may or may not work to get the paperclip, but if it succeeds, it will be clear that more has been communicated than is said. The second is on record. The speaker is a direct statement. Then it also called belt on record when the speaker is directly asked for something by using the imperative form to the other. For example, give me a clip or lend me your stapler. This statement can be softened by using some expression like please and would, and it is called mitigating devices. For example, give me a paperclip please, and would you lend me your stapler? The next material is about types of politeness strategies. There are four types. The first is off record. It is saying something without having any direct asking statement. For example, oh no, I forget to bring my pen. And then the second is bold on record. It is the most direct approach using imperative forms. For example, lend me your pen. And the third is positive politeness. It leads the request to appeal to common goal, even friendship. And this type is the type which is considering the positive face of someone. It gives a greater risk for the speaker of suffering a refusal and may be preceded by some getting to know you talk. For example, how about lending me your pen? And the last one is negative politeness. It is performing a face-saving act. The speaker will try to minimize the threat to the addressee's face. This type is the type which is considering the negative face of someone. The most typical form used is a question containing a modal verb. For example, I'm sorry, but could you lend me your pen? In English, negative politeness can be realized by the use of the following devices. The first is indirect speech acts. For example, what's his name versus I'd like to know his name. The second is inclusive constructions. For example, give me a beer versus let's have a beer. The third is verbal hedges. For example, I wonder if you could wash the dishes. And the fourth is apologetic language. For example, sorry to bother you, but what was the address again? And the last is honorifics, for example, doctor, and various variants of thanks, for example, thank you very much, that's very kind of you, I'm grateful for the information you've given to me, and etc.
Here is an outline that following Brown and Levinson theory as previously explained. For example, how to get a pen from someone else. There are two choices: say nothing by search the pen in bag, or say something that divided into two off record, not direct statement by saying I forgot my pen, or on record that has two choices. But on record, the most direct approach by saying give me a pen, or face-saving act that divided into negative politeness using modal verbs by saying could you lend me a pen, or face-saving act with positive politeness by saying how about letting me use your pen. Pre-sequences are the term used to introduce or opening part of the conversation. Despite directly making requests, speakers can produce a pre-request. It has advantage that it can be answered either a go-ahead response or stop response, which allows the speaker to avoid making requests that cannot be granted at the time. Look at the example number 1. In the example, before make a request, the speaker, her, asks the addressee, him, with pre-request. Then, the addressee answers with go-ahead response that allows the speaker to make a request which is likely to be granted by the addressee. Then, the addressee responds by accept the request. Now look at the example number 2. The speaker also start with pre-request, but then the addressee him answer with stop response, which may not be able to grant the speaker request. Pre-sequences are also commonly used in making invitation, which the inviter tends to ask pre-invitation. Look at the example number 1. Before make an invitation, the speaker him using pre-invitation. Then the addressee her answer with go-ahead response means that her may be able to grant the invitation. The final response by the addressee her is accept the invitation by saying OK. Now look at the example number 2. It's the same pre-invitation like number 1, but the addressee her answer with stop response because in Friday she has to finish her homework. This can avoid the speaker to make an invitation that maybe can't be granted by the addressee. Then pre-sequences also be used by children for making pre-announcement to check whether their parents are willing to pay attention or not. In the example number 3, the initial pre-announcement is met with silence, which is generally interpreted as a stop, but in this example, the child must be based on an interpretation that the parent didn't hear the first attempt. So the child make a pre-announcement for the second time. The final response has to be interpreted as a stop. Thank you.